Welcome to the Phoenix Prosperity Podcast, where wealth meets legacy. Join your host, Tim Fergestad, as we explore the journeys of Phoenix's finest to success and beyond.
All right. Hello, this is Tim Fergestad. Thank you for joining us. Today we're joined by Douglas Patriquin, CEO of Dr. Kelly's Surgical Unit. His team delivers affordable, high-quality surgical care to more than 250,000 pets across Phoenix and Tucson, and he's a dedicated hashtag LovePup Foundation board member, I think. Excited to dive in here. Welcome to the show, Doug.
Hello. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Let's talk first about the last part there, the LovePup Foundation. Can you tell us about that and how you got involved with that?
Well, so the board members of LovePup, John Jay and Blake Van Ness. John Jay being kind of a local celebrity here, being the radio host of the John Jay and Rich show on 104.7. Our youngest sons went to preschool together. And so I got to know Blake and John Jay through that. And then being in veterinary medicine, when Blake and John Jay started the foundation, it was just kind of a natural sort of fit where they started asking us for either help or, with the veterinary cases that they might have. And then eventually the symbiotic relationship of having a veterinarian or a vet representative on the board was helpful. And so I've been on I think I might be the longest standing board member at the moment. I think I've been doing it maybe 7 or 8 years now.
Okay, that's excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Okay, and then I forgot to mention Flagstaff in the intro because Phoenix, Tucson, Flagstaff, and you're growing outside of the state. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah. So we have 5 locations in Phoenix, one in Flagstaff, which just opened last month, and then one in Tucson that's been open for a number of years. And then we just kicked off the design, having signed the lease for our first location out of state, and that is in Denver. It's off of Colorado Boulevard, kind of the south side of Denver.
Okay. Now, for our listeners, why don't you tell them what Dr. Kelly's is and what it is not?
Yes, well, Dr. Kelly's, on your intro, you were correct. We provide affordable surgical care for dogs and cats. We do high quality volume soft tissue surgery, and what that means is most of our business is spays, neuters, dentistry, with extractions and all that, and mass removals. That's the preponderance of what people are looking for in that space. However, we do lots of other things that fit in that category as well. It's like amputations, bladder stone removals, eye removals, splenectomies, foreign body surgeries, gastropexies. There's a variety of what are considered quite high ticket, somewhat specialized surgical services that tend to be fairly pricey when you go to a GP or a specialist to have done. Since all we do is surgery, we don't have the tons of diagnostic and pharmaceutical medicines and equipment that isn't related to surgery. So we can just reduce the margin essentially in each service and then share that with our client. So the model is not complicated. It just means that we get to do specific types of work every day. So what we're not doing is ear infections, or my dog threw up yesterday. What's wrong with him? He's limping. I don't know what it is. He's got an itch on his skin. So that type of chronic issue or diagnostics is best for general practice or urgent care.
Okay. Not a traditional vet as some people may be thinking about it in terms of routine visits and so forth.
Correct. Like going in there every 6 months, you can get your blood work done, your urinalysis, and your fecals, your deworming. The stuff whether you're getting emails from your general practitioner. We don't do any of that stuff. And so it's when something major happens, like dentistry, well, spay and neuters, and dentistry, and mass removals, you typically can see those. So it's easy. You don't need to have that diagnosed. The dog's got bad breath. I've never had a dental before. You kind of know that it's maybe time. If they're not spayed and neutered, clearly they're ready to go. And if they have a large mass that's growing on their body somewhere, it's usually you can see that. And it's usually best to have those taken off sooner than later, but sometimes it can grow quite large when you're trying to avoid the cost of a typical veterinary practice. And what makes us so much special is we'll do free consultations, we do free estimates. You're not going to pay a vet visit to come in here and have us look at it. So we'll come in here, we'll give you a price for fixing whatever the issue is. And sometimes that can be done via text or even over the phone.
Oh, wow.
And save yourself the trouble of coming down to our practice to get that figured out. We can't do that in every case, but a lot of cases we can quite figure those things out fairly quickly.
Okay, yeah, that's great. So a lot of your clients are not necessarily referrals from a vet. It's just owners realize that you're there and they're like, well, why go to the vet? These guys are specialists and they can do it better, faster, and cheaper than the other.
Yeah, you might even say, the vast majority of pet owners are not what we consider like non-compliant owners. Like they don't go to the vet every 6 months. Maybe they don't even have a general practice pet owner. Like they went and they got their puppy shots, and that's kind of it.
Right.
So most people, pick up a dog or a cat. And maybe they got from a neighbor, and they want to make sure they're healthy, and they do the first round, but then they don't see another vet for however long. So most of our clients are not referred from another veterinarian. We do get a fair number that come from urgent care, that come from ERs, they come from general practices, but most just start typing in like cheap mass removal for a dog, or low cost dental near me, and they talk to a friend about where they can get spay neuter, and we pop up as a friend referral, not so much a veterinary partner practice referral.
I see. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, talk a little bit more about sort of the business, if you will. How it's grown, how long you've been operating, and what made you branch out recently from Arizona?
Yeah, well. So our back in the day, if people listen to this podcast and recognize Dr. Kelly's from when we started in 2016, we used to be mobile. We had these large format, like $500,000 specialty built surgical vehicles, and we would drive around. We'd park at a location, like what we called our parking partners. It'd be like a Camp Bow Wow or a Dogs 24/7 or a Pet Planet. Like, so they're usually like groomers or daycare facilities or small pet food stores. We'd park in their parking lot, create a bit of a symbiotic relationship with them, where we would drive clients to their parking lot, and we'd also be able to vaccinate or service some of their clients in the same location. It was a nice relationship. We had up to 5 of those vehicles running around Phoenix and Tucson. And it was great brand awareness. You drive around in a 40-foot billboard that says, that bill too high, text this number. Okay. And we created all of these great kind of parking partner relationships. However, fleet maintenance on vehicles that large is awful. The air conditioners, the autoclaves falling off the table, the anesthesia equipment kind of falling off the wall, and generators that don't work, and which is basically the power source. No generator, no working that day. From a client perspective, like maybe in the middle of the summer, you're in a hot parking lot. So we did great work, met people's needs in their community.
Yeah.
However, it just became hard to scale. And so then about 5 years ago, almost 6 now, we opened up our first brick and mortar location in Peoria. When I was getting ready to open up a 6th mobile, I decided I'll open up this brick and mortar. And then we never turned back. The brick and mortars allow you to have more than one doctor there. Staff would prefer to work in the building than on a mobile truck. You could call a regular plumber, not a specialty RV plumber, when there's something wrong. So over the next few years, we transitioned them all into brick and mortar, and we sold the last of those trucks.
Okay.
All of them, yeah. We sold the last of those trucks a couple of years ago. So now we've got the 7 locations. We've got 12 doctors in those 7 locations currently. So that's that. So then as far as growth, we started in October of 2016. I think maybe we did $150,000 that year, with Dr. Kelly alone. And then we've grown effectively 30% a year every year for the last 9 years.
Wow.
So we've
awesome.
grown quite a bit. And we're able to service, that's where that 250,000 patient clients numbers comes from, is we're just able to service so many pets that just need the care that we provide. Spays and neuters are wonderful, and they are necessary. Getting them at an affordable rate with a good outcome is great. And we love that work. The ones that are really most fulfilling are those mass removals that have gotten huge, and they're just too expensive to remove in a general practice, or a splenectomy, or a foreign body. These fairly expensive, somewhat life-threatening, urgent surgeries that we can do at a number that doesn't break the bank. It's our clients love it, as would be testament to our reviews, but what's most important is our doctors love it. That's why they're here. They just love basically cutting and sewing, you might say. Our staff love it, because surgery is actually the best part of veterinary medicine, they would say. And so being able to do that all day is what they prefer. And then We anticipate growing another 30% next year, and then we'll have to see where we end up after that, depending on how, once you get bigger, it becomes harder and harder to grow at that speed.
Okay. Well, and then what was the impetus for the Colorado location?
Well, some of it is in a real function, like scaling the company to a place where you can continue to do good work, and out of state's the place to go. At the end of the day, there will be a point in time where we'd have to sell or we'll bring on additional partners. Being able to prove that we can move out of state and
Sure.
stand up multiple practices in a different market is a big component of that.
I was thinking it might be competition here locally, or if you've saturated the market with your niche.
That's a fair. We, given the current state of the economy, we have essentially we're bumping up into marketing struggles. To be honest, I mean, at the end of the day, there's only so many people searching the internet for spays and neuters and dentistry. A lot of the work we do is discretionary spending. You don't have to get your dog a dental. I mean, you should, but it's not necessary from one day to the next. You don't have to spay and neuter your dog. I mean, we think it's a healthy option to do. We're supporters of it, but it's not necessary. And so when you're tightening your belt here in December of 2025, there are things you are cutting, and so we're bumping into the specific search volume in the Phoenix market. So at the end of the day, yeah, that's a correct assessment. And so then the next opportunity for us to grow is looking for outside markets that have an open capacity for us. They don't have a tremendous amount of competition. And we found that the east side of Denver doesn't really have a large, affordable volume surgery business.
Okay. And so I guess that was kind of what I was thinking is you guys have sort of a unique space in the dog and cat healthcare domain. And I was just wondering if there were other cities or pockets that are particularly amenable to it or attractive.
Yeah, I mean, every city needs affordable surgery, and a lot of times the spay and neuter and minor dentistry might be handled at a humane society or animal care and control, like here at Maricopa County Animal Care or Apache Junction. I mean, there's lots of cities have them, and the same situations are in other cities as well. Denver does have a few subsidized, government-funded, or otherwise. Volume spay neuter places that are meant to meet the market. We feel that there aren't enough, and they're not meeting the market in every jurisdiction area.
So that's the next exciting question is how quickly and how far can you expand Dr. Kelly's, right? Could you go national? Is there a demand? Is there a gap in that private surgical space?
Absolutely. To be honest with you, there's not enough affordable options in pet care, period. The larger consolidation and private equity back companies that are coming in and taking over, I think upwards of 30 or 40% of the veterinary practices across the country, just continue to raise prices in an effort to meet the demands of their shareholders and their partners, right? And you can see that here in Phoenix. There's several consolidation groups have come in and purchased large swaths of that general practices, general practice clinics, and you can see the complaints among the doctors and the clients is that the prices keep going up. It makes it more challenging for the doctors and staff to convince owners to accept the estimate they're providing. It makes the clients feel terrible because the numbers keep going up, and there's no real. There is insurance, but very few people use it. But the care of your pet is somewhat paramount. So it makes it, to step back. I mean, it makes it a nice business to be in. People love their pets. The people that work here love working for pets. We're not like doing retail selling sneakers, like people love doing the work that we do. And clients appreciate an opportunity to take care of their pets sometimes, but we can't need everybody, that's for sure. So the opportunity to expand really is based upon how much money I've got. We are privately held. We do not have any other financial backers. I'm not really interested in any financial backs at the moment. So it's like, as long as we continue to remain bankable and have an opportunity to either pay for some of that stuff in cash out of our own reserves or pay for the expansion with loans to expand into practices. That's the speed at which I can grow.
Okay. Yeah. And it's impactful stuff too. It's something, a number of my investors are surgeons. My wife did surgery for years before she switched to anesthesiology. You can have life-changing impact right there in one day that can be incredibly rewarding for everyone, which is great.
Yeah, right. But anesthesia, or even on the surgical side, yes. When you're going in to do the work, and then you do the work and you bring them out, and the outcome is good. I'm not a surgeon, and in fact, I'm not a veterinarian. But the feeling I know our doctors get from doing work like that,
Right.
just floors them. Yeah, I was talking to a doctor at our Queen Creek clinic on the way up here. I was there to drop off some Christmas gifts for them, and she was talking about a PU surgery, which is like a urinary issue with a dog. That is it's to her not acknowledgement. It's not an overly complicated surgery. However, it has got a tremendous outcome for the patient when they're having a hard time being able to urinate, right? So that's a very painful surgery, and so being able to so being able to go in there and repair that was hugely important. Now she'll do 15 surgeries in a day, and she remembers that one because of the impact that it made to that pet. Yeah.
Yep. People get their dog back. Fluffy's happy again.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So on that sort of note, I like the impact side. I like to ask people if they've done anything this year that's affected or impacted or changed their life. It could be some people travel and they found something, or I don't know. So it's
we do this. So we do we did travel. We tend to take big trips. We went to Madagascar this year, and on the way over there, we stopped in Dubai, and on the way back, we stopped in Istanbul. And it was an amazing trip. But the thing that I did this year that actually had the most impact on me personally is, I don't know, have you ever heard of the Hoffman Group?
No.
The Hoffman Group is like a I don't know, therapies, right? It's more of like a group therapy option. There's like 15 or 16 locations across the country. The one I went to was in outside of San Francisco, and just south of Petaluma. You spend a week there, and you go through lots of guided visualizations, meditations, physical activities, writings with roughly 40 other people, 39 other people. There's 40 of you there with very strong guidance from 5 or 6 instructors, and it is
just taking a week for yourself alone can be life changing. Much less having it guided.
No phones, no outside contact. You can't leave, and it is very impactful. Like I'd be floored if some of your past guests haven't at least heard of it or done it. I highly suggest you take a look at it. It was life changing, and what they do is they go back and they kind of introduce you to yourself again as a child and your parents, and kind of get a feel for where there might be some complications there.
Yeah, and the world moves fast. We stop checking in with ourselves.
Right, and there's a very intense impact for going and doing the work. It's wild.
Okay, very cool. Very cool. I have to look into that. Thank you for sharing that one.
Yeah.
Were you able to share that with the missus or the kids or anything like that? It's hard to, being a parent too, I know it's hard to get kids to engage. They're in their own world right now.
Right. In so much that I was talking to them about it, but my wife did not go. In fact, they suggest that you go alone, that you go at different times if they're interested. And there's very clear reason for that once you're there. But, and you're there a whole week, and the week kind of progresses. And if you took any single event and try to explain like the value of it, it's kind of it's brought out of context and could seem a little strange, or it doesn't seem quite right. So I talked to them about like the value that it brought me, how hopefully that'll impact my relationship with them in the future. And I think my kids are 18. It's a little too young. Like I think you should be. You don't quite realize the trauma that you've inflicted on your children until they're much later. I didn't quite realize that the quote unquote trauma that my parents inflicted on me. I hate to put it that way, but just sort of like the little quirks that I might have, the little quirks that I might have picked up. until I was in my 20s. I'm like, why am I doing this? Yeah. And so I would invite them to go, and I'd love for them to do it. And I invited my wife, Kelly. She may or may not go in the future, but it was impactful for me.
Okay, very cool, very cool. Yeah, I think it's a big ask to. I mean, there are grown adults who are not self-actualized, so asking a teen to figure out who they are and what they
Right.
want.
Yeah. I went so far as coming back as I told my leadership team, of which there are four other people currently. So there's five of us that sit around the executive table making decisions for the company. That I would pay for them to go and give them the PTO if they wanted to go. And so someone will undoubtedly take me up on that next year.
Nice, that's awesome. That's awesome. Any big plans for 2026?
2026, not yet. My senior will be graduating towards the middle of the year, and so we'll ask him where he wants to go for his graduation trip before he heads off to whatever school he chooses. My older son, given that option, wanted to go to Japan, so we spent 2 weeks in Japan. Wonderful country. So I'm not sure where we end up. That's the main part. I think I'm excited. We just booked a trip to go skiing. We got to go. We're a skiing family. We go skiing every year. It's just a short trip after Christmas.
Nice.
That'll bring us into the early parts of 26.
Cool. We're doing that too. My wife and I both went to the medical school at the University of Utah in Salt Lake, so we got a lot of friends there. We take the kids up there and go skiing. Usually, we'll probably do that again in the new year.
Salt Lake, Park City, and Solitude. Those areas are so easy to get to that it's insane not to go there. We almost went this year, but it doesn't I don't know what you've seen, but it doesn't look like the snow is going to come down in that area too well. So we were looking a little further north to see if we could capture some early season snow.
Okay, cool. We were asking my daughter if she wants. So we hiked across the UK this summer with my son when he graduated high school. That was we hiked Hadrian's Wall, between the old Roman wall between Scotland and England, and then we went over.
Yeah, very cool.
It was cool, but my daughter, she wanted to go drive the Mario Karts in Tokyo in the streets. But apparently you have to be 18, and she won't be 18, so she's.
Oh. We saw them. We did not do that. I'm a fairly tall, kind of big guy, and I did not see myself squishing into that little car at 3 feet off the ground. It did not feel like, and my family did not insist, and so I wasn't pushing it.
Funny. Okay, very cool, very cool. All right, Doug. If people want to learn more about Dr. Kelly's and connect with you, where can they go? What should they do?
Yeah, well, so it's drkellysvet.com. So DrKellys, V as in Victor, E T as in Thomas. It will get you to our newly built and shiny new website. From there, you can book an appointment. You can call us or text us looking for an estimate. We take appointments by call, text, or email. So whatever your preferred method of communication is, we will meet you there. So even when estimating, you could send us a picture of the mass you want removed, or the teeth, and we can give you an estimate of what it would take to remove that, or fix what's going on. Oftentimes, right via text.
That's amazing. That's awesome.
Which we're trying to make it as simple as convenient as possible. We're on all the socials. Same thing, Dr. Kelly's Vet. We're on all the LinkedIn's, or on the Instagrams, the Facebooks. We post fairly regularly, both informative information, cute information, self-serving information. But it can be a decent resource to keep us around.
Okay, excellent. That's all great. Thank you. Thank you everybody for listening and watching. Thank you very much, Doug Patriquin, for joining me.
We got that.
All right, thank you.
Thanks
Appreciate you sharing your story, and Dr. Kelly. Oh, I think we need to do a little shout out to Dr. Kelly, the OG, who is what?
Yeah, so Dr. Kelly, there is a Dr. Kelly. Her name is Dr. Kelly Patriquin. She actually works at this location where I'm at our West Mesa location, which is up in Dobson Baseline. She's been a vet for over 25 years. She's a phenomenal surgeon. It's her passion, having owned a general practice before and doing all the regular full service stuff, the diagnostics, of which she was also great at. The opportunity to just do surgery was really where she was at. It's her passion, what she wants to do. So she's my wife. We just celebrated 20 years this year.
Excellent. Congratulations. Thank you again. Appreciate you sharing your story and your insights into the industry.
You got it. Thanks for having me.
Inspired by our guests? Visit PhoenixProsperityPodcast.com/guest and join us on the show and share your success story with Tim. The spotlight awaits.